All right. Today is November 5th, 2016. This right here is pretty much basically an observation of what I've seen now with the whole Chris Jones situation, where they talking about this cat is on juice, he's taking steroids, aka he's on that anabolic chicken, he's hitting that gear. Pretty much basically this is just my take on it, and this is my 2 cents about the whole situation. And this is just strictly my opinion and my observation. All right. And I'm not anybody special. Just a fellow, you know, a fellow fitness enthusiast. Pretty much basically from what I've seen, and from what I'm seeing with this whole situation where he's going back and forth with this other dude, and you know, this dude is pretty much basically accusing him of being on steroids, and him and another gentleman, Simeon Panda, who's got another YouTube channel. Pretty much basically this guy is saying that they don't have natty gains. Their gains aren't true gains. Now, from what I've seen, I've been following Chris Jones's channel ever since he started his channel, from the days of the ghetto spatula to the Walmart protein. And I've trained with dudes who have taken gear, and I've done time in prison. Like, I've been in prison for about 5 years, five and a half years. I did time in the feds, and that's where I started bodybuilding at hardcore. Like, I started when I was 17, but I've seen dudes come up like Chris Jones, and I'm talking about natural. I've seen his progression, and to me, in my opinion, he does not look like someone who has taken any anabolic steroids, any pro hormones, or any ergogenic aids of that sort, you know, and any androgenics. So to me, you can build a body like Chris Jones's from scratch with hard work, dedication, and determination. To me, I don't see any of his gains being synthetic. I don't see any synthetic gains there. Now, in terms of Simeon Panda, you may look at him and you may say, okay, this dude might be somebody who might not be, you know, natty. Now, I can tell you a story about a dude who I used to train with when I was doing time in Kentucky, named JT. JT, he was from Tennessee, country boy. You know, he grew up on a farm. His family had a farm. You know, this kid, he raised goats, cows. You know, they had horses. He looked like the exact duplicate of Simeon Panda. Like, I'm talking about the same muscle bellies, around the same height, same muscle bellies, same insertions, same quad development, same upper torso development, same arm development. You know, the elongated traps, his back, everything to his lower lumbars, all that. Like, pretty much basically on point. Like, if they were to stand next to each other, you would say they were twins. Pretty much basically, I've seen him build his body from scratch. And pretty much basically, this dude was a genetic freak. Now, in terms of Simeon Panda and Ulysses Grant and all them dudes, those were just genetic freaks, man. Like, you got dudes who are able to build muscle like that. You know, and my boy JT, he lifted just like how Simeon said he lifted, you know, for power. There were times when we would go out on the weight pile and we would lift, and we were lifting pretty much basically, we were doing powerlifting. So we would do 3 months of powerlifting, then 3 months of volume training, and then 3 months of just cutting up. Because we were competing when we were in there too. So we were getting ready for shows that were in there too as well. And, you know, his type of gains are achievable. You can achieve those type of gains. There is no reason why you can't achieve those type of gains. You can achieve those type of gains. Like the type of gains that Simeon Panda has, you can achieve those. And I mean naturally. Now, in terms of whatever cutting agents they may be taking, I don't know if they are. I'm not insinuating that they are taking any cutting agents. But if, you know, you got certain people who I've known personally, people in the industry right now who are physique models, and to get ready for a shoot, they would take certain cutting agents. All year round they would train natty, and you know, they're taking Clen, Winstraw, you know, right down to the last minute before they go to, you know, do any type of shoots. And some of them were training for shows right before shows. And I've seen some go way past that. I've seen someone test, you know, I've seen someone trend. And I know what to look for. I know how a person's skin, everything will look when they're on. In terms of Chris Jones and Simeon, I don't really see any, and this is just my opinion, I don't really see any anything going on with them that would raise suspicion that he's taking anything that is giving him help or aiding him in his gains. Strength wise, and from what I see, where his strength and in terms of his build and physique, all that matches up. You know, when I used to train with some of these guys out in the streets here, when I came home, I was personal training. I was training at New York Sports Club for a while. And some of the guys who I was training with, who were taking these aids and who were taking ergogenic, you know, androgenic aids and you know, who were taking like bronchial dilators and all that other stuff. Like, these guys, they didn't have the strength, nowhere near the strength of what I had. And when you would look at them, and dudes was looking at me like I was taking steroids. I came home at 210. I was at 4.5% body fat. I in no way was taking steroids. And the type of weights that I was lifting compared to these dudes, and from what I look like compared to what these dudes look like when they were on gear and doing cycles, they couldn't lift what I could lift. And it took me longer to cut up as opposed to how they were cutting. Like, these guys would probably, I would say, maybe give or take a month, maybe a month and a half out from a show, would start cutting and look diced and shredded because they were taking bronchial dilators. You know, these guys were taking, you know, other androgenic aids to help them get to where they were. But in terms of like Chris Jones and Simeon, I don't see anything. And I could tell, I could look. And I'm looking at their videos and I'm looking at their training. Maybe there's something that other people see that I don't see. You know? But then again, you know, you got a lot of dudes on these channels. They claim to be, you know, these pros. They claim to be scientific geniuses at this. You know, I hold a certification. I'm NFPT certified personal trainer and a nutritionist as well, but I do not claim to be any pro at this or any major scientist at this. So this is just my little, you know, my little observation and my 2 cents on the subject. However, other people might think differently. I don't know. You might be right. But that's just my little take on it. And that's it. Pretty much basically. I don't see any type of unnatural gains there, in my opinion, in defense of Chris Jones and Simeon Panda. I mean, there might be people who know them personally who might see things that we don't see. I don't know. But from what I see, nah, I don't see anything there. Nah, no anabolic chicken, you know, no test. I don't really see any bronchial dilators, nothing. I don't think they're taking any of that shit. I think it's just good old-fashioned getting in the gym, busting your ass, hard work, supplementation, you know, staying on your diet regimen, and that's it. Got a lot of people out there who really can't discipline themselves to see these type of results. And there's a lot of people out there who pretty much don't even have the type of genetics that these people have. You know, I've had people come to me and tell me, yo, you got really good genetics, man. You should take a cycle. I could get you a cycle. Shit, goddamn, I'm scared of a fucking TB shot. You know, much less taking a fucking whatever gauge needle in my arm and shooting fucking exotic oils in my arm. Hell fucking no. You know, I can't even take a TB shot, much less. And 2, I can't even afford that shit. And hey, listen, I'm not doing anything to fuck up my health. I believe in longevity in this shit. There's a lot of people who will sacrifice a lot of shit just to look good. You know, and a lot of my friends, they're on their second marriages right now because of that shit. So that should say something. That should say something. That's just my opinion, though. I'm just saying.